update now on some breaking news we are following in southwest Kansas. Fires burning in Meade and Clark counties have burned a combined 100,000 acres as firefighters from across the state continue to work to protect people and their homes. The largest fire is a Meade County complex fire burning more than 46,000 acres in areas south of Meade and near Meade State Lake. Now, Sunday night, the Kansas Forest Service advised people in Meade that they should be ready to evacuate if needed.
In Clark County, a fire near Clark State Fishing Lake has burned more than 13,000 acres. The Forest Service asks people in Mineola to be alert of their surroundings as fire danger expected to continue throughout the day.